Hey everyone, welcome back to my workbench. Well, before I get into the boring stuff, a couple exciting developments on the Intellivision controller. Get a little closer so you can see a little better. So I actually was able to figure out how to make a proper 16-way controller out of a regular joystick. So I created this whole, I had to 3D print a couple pieces here, screw them together, but you can hear, let me get closer here, you can hear that's in the diagonal. All three hit more or less exactly the same time. So direction, well actually it's going to be this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of hard to hear, but it's there. Yeah. So all 16 directions are there. So dimensions wise, it works out just about perfectly. That I had to do a little finagling when it came to the spacing here, but the actuator that came with the joystick is thinner at the top than the bottom, so it kind of works out angle wise. So you hit everything at the same time. It's kind of cool actually. So yeah, 16 ways, man. True 16's coming soon. So I already got the parts. I already have a couple enclosures to cut. I just need to modify my drawing a little bit because I need to move up the joystick slightly, because this sticks out a good half an inch from the standard, so I got to push everything up like half an inch. Not a huge deal. I'm already planning on that, so I got plenty of room in the enclosure drawing. So yeah, it works. There it is. It's all 2 stacks. All the dimensions seem to work pretty darn well. So yeah, soon. And then the second part of that is I did a little more work on the overlay holder. So I dropped this depth down slightly. I extended this a bit. It's kind of hard to see, but when you slide the overlay in, it lines up just right now. All the arrows and everything all line up where they should. So that's turned out real nice. My prints have been turning out very nicely. Using some PLA Plus in this material. So I mean, this is like the top side, which I went through and had to do a top ironing. Looks awesome. I mean, really, really nice looking. Oh, and I added a chamfer to the end here. So when you slide, the keypad's going to be underneath here. So when you slide it in, the chamfer will help guide it into the bottom groove, so you don't mess up your. You can just barely see it there. There's a little chamfer here, but there's a chamfer there to allow it to slide it all the way flush. So yeah, depth is good. I just need to cut some an enclosure. You actually need to get through. I got 6 orders for these 5200s, so I'm trying to get through all those. But yeah, I wanted to share that first. So that's a major breakthrough on the True 16. So I already have all the wiring figured out. I've got it on a notebook of mine, and I'll start hooking that up once these 6 are done. So now we're back to the excitement of, I trimmed all the pots down already using the bolt cutters, and this is a little fixture I made just so I can solder this all together. I think I showed that last time, can't remember. But yeah, I had to purchase little basically trim caps to add in addition to the main capacitors on here, because these pots are supposed to be excuse me, 1 meg pots. I think they come in a little lower than that, so I had to add a little more. Oh, you jammed in there. I had to add a little more capacitance to it. Let's see where these coming in at. Where's the on button? Oh, there it is. Too fancy for my brain. Here we go. Well, that shows up horribly on. Oh, that's better. I want volts, ohms. Come on. Why am I not getting this diode? Whoa, what's up with my meter here? It's not in all the way. Let's see. There it goes. I don't want PP, I just want regular. Diode. Yeah. Now this meter is not like in the megohm range. Well, that's weird. You're too fancy anyway. Oh, grab my trusty Craftsman. Yeah, so these came in a little lower than a meg. You can see it written on there. It says 1 meg, but they're actually coming in at these are, yeah, a little less than a meg, so not 940K. So I had to go through and bump up the capacitance a little bit, but not too much. So that's good there. Yeah, hush you. All right, you go away. So, and now we're just back to installing a bunch of cables and a bunch of capacitors. This is a little this particular set of pots, it's at 57 nanofarads, yeah. Just put in parallel, because the 5200, it doesn't actually measure resistance, it measures impedance. And the difference is impedance is AC and resistance is DC. They're related to each other, but impedance has a capacitive and a inductive component, RLC. Oh, that's another thing. I'm thinking of going back and getting a master's in electrical engineering. I realize in electrical and computer engineering, a lot's changed in, it's been 27 years, yeah, 27 years, like this month. Almost this day to the day, actually. My degrees over there, I'll check it. So a bit's changed in almost 3 decades, and there's like whole programming languages which just like didn't exist when I was going to college. So I went to college from 95 to 98. So stuff has changed a little bit since then. I'm thinking, you know what, I wouldn't mind getting more into the design world of things, because I've been really enjoying this work on my Workbench, building up these controllers, and I wouldn't mind getting into a bit more of the design side than just test engineering, because my day job, I'm a rather fancy title of test engineering architect. So recently I've been pulled more and more into the design side. I need to learn like some of the newer design software, like Altium, because I was trained on OrCAD Capture, and KiCad's actually very close there to OrCAD. If you use OrCAD, you can use KiCad, but the Altium is like a different animal, and I've never really learned Altium, so it'd be nice to learn that too. So maybe they have a course on that, so I can learn, because it has much better auto routing and all that stuff. So when you design a circuit board, it's not magic. You have to lay all the parts down. You have to know what size, but every part has a footprint that goes onto a schematic, but everything has to be routed. In the schematic, yes, everything's connected, but it's not connected in like the real world way, so it all has to be routed through a number of layers in the copper. And what am I looking for? One of these. And yeah, that's how it but in the good old days, you had to do everything manually. In terms of the routing, now they have auto routers that'll help route it, but you still have to like check it afterwards. You can't completely trust the AI algorithm for how it routes everything. Some things you have to have like you don't want to route like high-powered cables through a sensitive area, because you always have to worry about EMC, electromagnetic compatibility. So if you have like a high power line passing through, or you don't have a ground plane all over the place, then you can be literally spraying out radio waves, and that is a no-no. The FCC and the IEC do not like that. That's the European version of it. Yeah, so you don't want to spray the whole world with spurious emissions. Let's see. I'm going to do this upside down. It's still X. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of EMC testing for work. We're working on this big high-powered thing. Oh, what a nightmare. It's running off of what's it, 308 Delta? No, Y. In the world of electrical systems, that's one thing I also want to probably get brushed up on, because I'm electronics, and I'm really not that great with electrical. The difference is the amount of voltage. And the problem I'm running into is these things run off of, though in Europe they use what's known as WYE, which has a neutral line. There's three phases, L1, 2, and 3, and there's a neutral. And then in the US they use what's known as Delta, which is just L1, 2, and 3 with no neutral. So different animals. And that means your power supplies have to be different. In the US, they also do split phase as well. In Europe, they do too. And of course, they're running 50 hertz instead of 60 hertz. If you want to go old school cycles per second, but it's like even now, the lights in this room are flickering at 60 times a second. You just can't see it. Actually, in my software, you have to compensate for your line frequency, and like I use OBS for recording these videos, and you can compensate for the 60 hertz or 50 hertz depending where you live. Otherwise, you'll see this weird rolling go over the screen, or over the is the camera's capturing at, usually cameras are capturing at 50 or 60. What am I running at? I'm doing 30 FPS. So it's not a huge deal, but the camera itself, you can get this weird rolling effect. I don't bother doing 60 FPS. It looks too much like a sitcom, or not sitcom, yeah, what am I looking? Soap opera look, which I don't like the look of that. I don't really like 60 hertz. I turn off, like on my TV, and I turn off the smoothing and like interpolating the frames. So I like keeping it a nice 24 or 30 frames. It's actually 23.9 something is what film does. Gives you that little bit of blur, so it doesn't look so weird. Some people like that look. I personally don't care for it. So my videos are 1080 at 30. Plus it keeps your file size down and keeps your processor load down a little bit too. Even running the built-in encoders from the video card, it can drag it down a little bit. So yeah, so tonight I'm just going through and building these little sub-assemblies up. I probably won't stay here all night babbling, but I really want to get out. In fact, I actually made some progress on the Intellivision True 16, so that's good. So today is Wednesday, almost Thursday. So knock on wood, I'll get most of these controllers out so I can work on it more this weekend. And at least get the plastic cut for it. I still have 2 more enclosures to cut. I can't believe how many orders I got at once. People say I'm getting good reviews out there, which is good to know. And I've gotten a lot of emails saying they're very happy with the 5200 joystick, and I hope to do the same with this Intellivision controller as well. As the original controllers, somehow almost as bad or worse than the 5200's controller, which is pretty amazing. So I need to figure out pricing on it as well. I asked my wife for help with that because she has a degree in accounting and business management, so she can figure out a proper sell price. I know there's not a lot of competition either, come to think about it. I think there's like one person out of France, I think, or something weird like that for the Intellivision. They have a 16-way, but it's like the original controller, but turned sideways, like a modern D-pad on the left instead of on the bottom, which just seems strange. And I know Retro Game Boys has one, but I think it uses external power, if I remember correctly. I have to look it up. This one's just going to be powered off entirely off of the Intellivision, and electrically it's going to be identical to the original Intellivision, so no digital trickery there. There's no gates, there's no active circuitry. It's just going to be like the original. So the Intellivision won't know a difference. And I'll have, of course, 2 different versions, one with the DB9 and one with the kind of the DuPont style connector, the 100,000 spaced connector. And that'll be 2 different colors. The Intellivision 2, and there's an Intellivision 3, it also has another name. That's beige. They'll have a beige enclosure, and then I'll make a black with for the original Intellivision. I think the original Intellivision had some wood grain. I'll put some wood grain on there. If we're gonna do something, do it with some style. I should probably not be switching tools so much, but it gets really boring using the same tool over and over again. And in terms of like happy, relaxing, it's much more satisfying doing the more artisanal controllers, just building them up one by one. But when I have a run of controllers being sold, you got to batch them and just build up a bunch of parts and then knock out a bunch of assemblies, final assembly tests at the same time. But yeah, I think we're going back for that master's. And Purdue has a master's in electrical and computer engineering, which you can do entirely online. So my work has my main job has tuition reimbursement. So if you get an A, you get 100% of your money. B, it's like 90%, and then C, 80 or 75, and if you get a D or an F, you got to pay for it, man. Which is totally fair. Yeah, but I wouldn't mind brushing up some knowledge, and it's just expanding. I really want to learn PC board design more. That was really in its infancy. There was OrCAD's been around forever, but like the tools I have now are just literally 30 years newer than what I originally learned. So it'd be nice to get all modernized and get some patents to my name. That'd be kind of fun. Just want to expand my knowledge a bit. Of course, that'll help with these controllers too, because then I can learn how to properly design PC boards and just send it out to a board house, and be a lot less work on my end for the final assembly. I'm really tempted to make a probably do it ahead of time, a DB15 to the board that'll go. I can just plug directly into the keypads and stuff, so make my assembly easier. I'm thinking about that one. There we go. That's another one done. I think that's going to be it for the video for tonight. I'm going to keep on working on this a little bit. My voice is getting a little tired. I slipped on the ice today. Oh man, that sucked. It's been super cold. And I was like, alright, I need to get outside and walk soon. And stupid me, I slipped on the ice and banged my knee up and everything. It sucked. But it's okay. It's a little scratched up and a little sore. But still, man, you get in the ground fast. Oh, scary. It's just boop, down. Totally didn't expect it. And the dumbest thing is I had ice cleats in my car. I should have put them on. To put on your, they're like chains for your boots. So if I go out walking again, I'm going to put those on. Not kill myself. It has been so cold here, though. I mean, it's like 5F right now, which is like, what, minus 15, 20 C? It's insane. It's way too cold. We keep on having one Arctic polar vortex after the next. It's just ridiculous. It's been way colder than usual for Chicago. I mean, we get cold here, but not like this. This is unusual to have the stretches. But we've had a couple of these really bad cold stretches in the last 5-6 years. So, stupid climate change. It sucks. It's not just hotter, it also gets colder too. It wasn't like this. I mean, there was a really bad cold snap when I was a kid, but I mean, it was that was intense. I remember that. You couldn't turn your car off. It was so darn cold, unless you didn't feel like going anywhere afterwards. But that was back in the days of all the cars were carbureted, so a lot harder to get them started once they were off. But I know, like up in Minnesota, they have like engine heaters for their blocks, so it keeps it much easier to start your car. Was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. I mean, it was only last year we had a really bad cold snap, polar vortex fancy term for cold as F. And there was a bunch of stranded Teslas. I saw a couple of them. The problem with lithium, I think I'm just gonna keep soldering the caps on and then come back. The problem with any kind of lithium is batteries in general lose a lot of capacity when they're cold, and lithium especially loses a lot of capacity when they're cold. So something you gotta be wary of if you don't have a garage or something like that. I mean, you can get away with it a few times, but you will damage the cells eventually in the cold. Yeah, there's preheaters and stuff like that, but you're going to be eating up range. I mean, for some applications, electric vehicles, fantastic. Short haul, trucking, stuff like that, it's great. But school buses, that's another great use for electric vehicles. Anywhere where you're going to use it a limited number of hours, relatively short trip, and not frequent stops. Is a perfect use case for electric vehicles. Like the Amazon delivery trucks, those are a perfect use case. And I know Ford has like the E-Transit van, I think. But yeah, again, when you're parked in the same place every night, and you can you got to maintain the vehicles anyway. You can just charge them up. And like a school bus. What's a school bus doing today? 15 miles, 20 miles? That's not a lot. It's like the original Nissan Leaf. When Nissan was developing the Leaf, they determined like 90% of what people do, they drive. I mean, like they're kind of sad, like 95-mile range, if even that, would cover like, it was something crazy, like 90% of people, and it's only like more or less edge cases. This is boring. Okay. Where you need more range than that. That being said, I drive a hybrid because I didn't want to deal with any kind of range anxiety or worrying about it in the cold or anything like that. It's not a plug-in hybrid. It's a mild hybrid, a parallel as they call it. So the gas engine can directly power the wheels. Unlike the serial hybrid, like the pure hybrids, like the Prius and the Volt, are most of your plug-in electrics are serial hybrids, which are a true hybrid vehicle where the electric motor is the only motor that drives the wheels. Oh, you tell I work for a company that does a lot of electric vehicle stuff. Yeah, with a new module balancer we're working on now. That's pretty cool. Electric vehicles, they have a pack, but the pack is made of separate modules, and those all get wired together. So when you replace a module or install it new, you have to make sure all those modules are sitting at very similar voltages, because if you don't, one will charge into the other one, and it's not efficient or good for the modules. And then inside each module are the cells, individual cells, and those all have to be very close to each other as well. So what goes into making a pack? Oh, this is exciting. Come back to these later. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what? It's getting late. I'm tired. I'm going to build more of these tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll be done making the joysticks and then do some final assembly work. So everyone, thanks for watching. Again, Intellivision True 16's come along real nice. So I'll have that. I think I'll have the, if I have time, I'm hoping this weekend to get it finally wired up, cut and wired up so I can try it out. So we'll see. Should work. No reason it shouldn't. And to celebrate my 1 year of having my company, bought myself a nice new watch. This is a Chinese homage to a Tag Heuer Monaco Golf. I got the sterile dial with no markings on it. And actually it's pretty cool. It's got a Valjoux, Chinese copy of the Valjoux 7750. So it's a true 12-hour chronograph. So it's pretty cool actually. Sapphire crystal. It's really nice. I mean, it's just a tiny bit bigger than the real deal, but not by much. So I think it's cool looking. Nice soft leather strap on it. So yeah, it's to celebrate 1 year. And everyone, thank you for. I've passed to this most recent batch. I think I'm up to 104 controllers. So it's a lot of controllers in a year. That's fantastic. Again, thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully we'll see that Intellivision controller, the True 16, done soon, so I can get those up for sale. And of course I'm continuing building my 5200 controllers. That doesn't seem to be going away at all either. So, and everyone, thank you for your orders and patience. It's just trying to find a time between life and everything else to build. Thanks for watching, everyone.